Welcome to day 4 of Tae's birthday week. Today's video is a little different for me. So today I'm going to be doing a journal with me journal spread about my experience at the Permission to Dance on Stage in LA concerts. I love journaling. It's been a while since I journaled though. I find it very relaxing, but I really haven't done much journaling this whole year. Since January was the last time I journaled. So I actually bought a brand new journal because I feel like I just kind of want a fresh start, especially since we're going to be going into the new year. So I bought this cute little purple journal that I actually found at CVS. So we're going to be starting this today, and I think it's very fitting that my first journal spread will be about my Permission to Dance concert experience. So I printed out some pictures that I took at the concert, and I also have a few freebies and things that I got there as well, and I'm going to be just laying them out and figuring out how I want to make this spread. And while I do that, I'll be talking a bit about my experience there. All right, so as I mentioned, I went to days 1 and 2 of the concert, and on the day that this video will be uploaded, which is December 27th, it will be exactly a month from the first concert, which was on November 27th. So I can't believe it's been that long. It feels so surreal. I don't know, looking back on it, it kind of feels like, did that really happen? But that's kind of why I want to make this video, to like help me look back on those memories and for it to not feel so surreal. So I arrived in LA on the 26th, and I was a little anxious about traveling alone and kind of not having a concert buddy and just flying alone, especially since this was my first time traveling by plane since the pandemic started. So it had been a couple of years. I was a little nervous about all of that and just about kind of being in LA by myself and not really knowing people there. But it was really exciting that when I got to the airport and I was at my gate waiting to board the plane, it was so exciting that there were so many armies there waiting and lining up, and you could just immediately tell by all the BT21 merch, of course, on their luggage, keychains, all kinds of things. So neck pillows. I remember there was one girl who just had Tata everything, like Tata neck pillow, Tata keychains, Tata absolutely everything. So I could tell they were a Tae bias. And people were just like kind of talking in the line about BTS a bit, and then on the plane you could just tell so many people were armies. I was a little bit too shy to like talk to other armies at the gate and on the plane, but it was just so cool to see, and it made me so excited, and it made me feel immediately less anxious. Like, okay, these are people who are all going to the same place, and I immediately feel kind of a kinship with them, so it just made me feel a lot better. It was like, I don't know, the most exciting flight I've ever been on, if that makes sense. And the flight itself was fine. When I got to LA, kind of the anxiety set in a little bit again, just because I was there on my own and, you know, had to like navigate the airport and getting to my hotel, which wasn't difficult, but I get kind of anxious about stuff like that. And then not really like, you know, having anyone to meet at the airport and things like that, whereas seeing other people who are meeting up with friends and getting really excited about that at the airport. So I got to the hotel and was feeling a little bit down, feeling a little bit in a funk. I think it was just kind of the anxiety of traveling and the long day kind of getting to me. Which was a little bit of a bummer because obviously I was in LA, I wanted to be excited, and I was feeling kind of down. But that night was fun because we went to get Korean fried chicken. Okay, I have the pictures cut out. Let me start I'm gonna have to cut these down further, obviously. Let me start kind of figuring out how I want to place them before I continue talking. We went to get Korean fried chicken with my roommate that I was sharing a hotel room with. She and a couple of other friends that she knows, we met up to get Korean fried chicken, and that was fun. I was feeling pretty exhausted and low energy, but I feel like after eating I got some of that energy back. So that first day was pretty low-key, just kind of arriving there and getting situated. I'm gonna cut these pictures and then be back to talking when I'm done with that. Okay, so I don't think I've talked about what any of these pictures actually are. Actually, I'll do that at the end because it might spoil stuff. But let me just figure out how I want to lay these out, because apparently it's hard for me to multitask and talk at the same time that I'm doing this. And then I will continue my story. Okay, so I've got the pictures cut down. I think I'm going to cut this little piece of stationery and glue it here so that way I can have space to write a bit about my concert experience, and then put this down here and maybe add a couple other little things there. But anyway, let's go on to day 2. So day 2, day 1 was, as I said, kind of exhausting with traveling and stuff. But day 2 was the first day of the first concert, the 27th. And on that day, my friend and I went to go get Starbucks and something to eat. And then we got ready for the concert and we Ubered over to SoFi Stadium. We took some pictures in front of the stadium. And then we kind of each went our separate ways to like line up for different things that we wanted to get and like look around. So I did not want to get in the merch line because I had heard about how intense that had been the previous day, and I didn't want to stand in line for hours and hours. But I did want to get Tae's dispenser PC from the albums. So I got in line to buy an album, and that line wasn't nearly as bad as the merch line. Like the merch line was super long. The album line was not that bad. So I got in that line and I was only going to buy one album, but I decided to buy 2 because I just was getting a little bit nervous about not getting Tae. And they were sold out of Butter albums. They had sold out earlier in the day. They only had B albums. So I bought 2 B albums. Actually, it was pretty cool because in the line while waiting for albums, I was talking a bit with the person behind me, and we realized that we live in the same area, like 30 minutes away from each other. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, I finally got the albums. And I got Hobie and Tae, so I was so happy to get Tae. As I was nearing the end of the line and getting my album, sound check started, so I could hear their voices singing. And oh my gosh, like as it started to get darker, because obviously the sun would go down around like 5, as it started to get darker, you could just feel like the energy rising of the crowd and everybody getting more excited. And of course, as sound check started as well, kind of the excitement going up. So I don't know, I just like got goosebumps because I could hear their voices. And so as soon as I got my album, I walked over closer to the stadium so I could kind of hear a little bit better during the sound check. And it was so exciting. It was so exciting. And then I went to go line up, and that was a mess. I'm not going to necessarily rehash the whole thing because I don't want to get stressed again. But yeah, the lines were a mess. They were not organized at all. The line I was in, well, first of all, my ticket said side view because I had a side view seat. And so my ticket did not even say which gate number, which entry I was supposed to go into. It literally just said, this was a freebie that someone gave me at the concert. It literally just said side entry. Like it didn't tell me what gate to go into. So I didn't even know what gate I was supposed to go into. So I was like, all right, I tried to ask an employee there, and they said I could just line up at any gate, and I was still nervous about if they were gonna let me in or not, but I was like, okay, I'm just gonna line up by this gate then. And the line was super long. This was a little bit past 5. Gates were supposed to open at 5:30. The line was super long, and first of all, they did not start letting people in at 5:30, but when they finally, it was probably more like 6, but when they finally started letting people in and the line finally started moving, it was moving so slowly, and my line that I was in was so disorganized that it became basically a bunch of lines all like melded together to become a big mob, because the SoFi employees there kept telling people to just like join the lines, or just to like form new lines on the side. So there were like 6 different lines all in one, and it became just a huge mob, and was hardly moving, and it was crazy and stressful, and I was worried I wasn't going to be able to get in on time. Thankfully I finally got in at like 7, and for me they still did check my bag, kind of. They sort of just glanced at it. They didn't really look too closely, and they checked my ticket. They did not check my vaccination. I did hear that for people who were still in line around like 7:15, the SoFi employees kind of just said, whatever, just go in, and stopped checking anything, which is really messed up. But anyway, for me, I got in at 7, and then I was running around the whole stadium trying to find my section, because this is another freebie that someone gave me, and this is not my actual seat. I did order some on Etsy, a holographic ticket that has my actual seats on it, but for now I'm gonna put this in here, and I'll probably make another journal spread later on, because I do want to also put some pictures of myself and my friend, which I'm not going to show in the video, but anyway. So yeah, it took a while to find my seat. I was kind of running up and down some stairs, and I asked 1 or 2 employees, and it was a mess, because the gate that I ended up going in through was nowhere near my section, since my ticket didn't even tell me where to go in through. So finally I found my seat, and at one point, I think it was when all of the people were just let in without being checked, because there was one point where I was kind of going down some stairs to find my section, and suddenly a whole bunch of people came that were running. So I was kind of scared at that point, because it's not that people were pushing or anything like that, but there were just so many people running, and we were on some stairs. So I was just kind of afraid that someone was gonna trip and knock everyone over, and we were all gonna fall. So that was kind of a scary moment. SoFi really is not accessible at all. Like, I'm not a person who, you know, needs like accessibility accommodations or anything like that, but for people who do, like, I mean, it's hard to manage. Even it was hard to manage even for me, so I can just imagine. So yeah, it was a mess. I finally found my seat, and I ran real quick to the bathroom and to buy a water, and then when I got back to my seat after doing that real quick, it was like 7:25, so it was like 5 minutes before the concert was supposed to start. They did not start until about 7:45 though, probably because of the issues with the entrance, so I think they delayed the starting time a bit. But anyway, moving past all of that stressful time, it was really cool, because when I sat down, we started kind of talking with some of the people sitting near me, and we realized that several of us who were sitting in that row next to each other were all there by ourselves, and we were like from different states, and one girl was even from Costa Rica. So it was cool, because we realized like, oh, you're here alone too? Oh, you're here alone too? Me too. And there were like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of us, and so we bonded over that and introduced each other and talked about who our bias is. And it was cool, because then we kind of like had concert buddies. Like throughout the concert, I would just kind of turn to whoever was next to me and be like, oh my gosh, did you just see Namjoon just did that? Like, or like the Jimin stand next and be like, are you okay? Are you surviving? Yeah, so that was fun. Like, it was really, really fun that we bonded together with my seatmates, because one of the things I was really most worried about was going by myself. and kind of not having anyone to bond with during the concert, which I feel like that always like amps up my excitement even more, having someone to share it with. I kind of like feed off other people's energies. But so yeah, that made it really, really fun. I was excited about that. And I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, oh my gosh. So before the boys came on stage, they were playing a couple of music videos. They played Dynamite, Butter, and Permission to Dance. When the Butter music video was playing, I started tearing up. Like, I literally started tearing up. I mean, it's Butter. It's an exciting, happy song, but it's funny because my friend who I'm sharing a room with and I had been joking the day before about, oh, watch me cry during Butter. And like, I actually did, just because the crowd was all singing along and chanting and cheering and with their army bombs, and it just hit me in that moment that they are about to come out on stage in a couple of minutes. BTS was about to come out on stage, and it finally felt so real. So yeah, and then they actually did come on stage, and I don't know, like, I don't even know how to talk about it. It was just amazing. I think it was hard for me to believe at first. Sorry that I'm not like doing stuff at the moment. It's hard for me to multitask, like I said, but I feel like for BTS, as well as, you know, for speaking for myself, I can't speak for everybody, but I feel like maybe for most of the crowd in general as well, it was very surreal, like being back together after all this time. Not that I've even been to a full BTS concert before. I did see them at Jingle Ball in 2019, but just like, you know, in general, ARMYs being reunited with BTS, it felt like such a surreal moment that, you know, people say that, oh, the crowd was too quiet or they weren't chanting, blah, blah, blah. Like, the crowd was loud. The sound does not travel well in SoFi at all. But I will say that I feel like there were moments when we were kind of just trying to take everything in collectively as an audience. And there were moments when a hush would kind of fall. And I feel like BTS and ARMYs were all like having a very surreal experience that first night. I think it was halfway through the concert where, like, yes, it hit me in that moment during the Butter music video. And then I feel like I was kind of in shock, having like a surreal out of body experience again, and then like halfway through the concert it kind of hit me again, and I just honestly was overtaken by this enormous sense of euphoria halfway through the concert. I was like, I am here, this is happening. It doesn't feel fully real, my brain can't fully process it, but my body is here. I am here, BTS is performing, I'm experiencing this, and I just felt such an overwhelming sense of euphoria. Like, I felt like every single other emotion in my body got pushed out except for happiness. Just this intense, all-consuming happiness that just pushed everything else out, and I felt like everything that had happened in the last 2 years just did not matter. Like, in that moment it just did not matter. And, you know, all of the things that made me feel sad, that made me feel anxious, that made me feel angry, that made me feel resentful or upset or nervous or whatever, like all of that just got pushed out of my mind. Every single thing, none of it mattered in that moment, absolutely nothing. And like, that's so rare, because I mean, I feel like that's normal for most people probably, but for me especially, I'm a person who just overthinks things a lot, and it's very hard for me to get out of my head and to kind of not overthink things that make me anxious or sad. So the fact that BTS did that was just very magical and very powerful, and it was absolutely an amazing experience, and I'm so glad that I could be there for that first day. Let me see real quick what else I can add over here before I talk about day 2. So I do have these stickers that I got as freebies from the BTS times Laneige. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. That cosmetics booth with like the lip masks and stuff. I went to get some freebies from them, and they came with these cute stickers, so I could maybe add a couple of these. Maybe I'll put Tay and then a couple of these thingies. So yeah, day 1 was amazing, and they performed, I think that was the day they performed Answer Love Myself, which tears, and We Are Bulletproof the Eternal, and more tears. I didn't actually cry, but I was just like, I cannot believe I'm here right now experiencing this. I can't. This is interesting. Do these peel off, or I'm not sure. I can't believe that. I can't believe that they performed those songs, honestly. Just so emotional. And then at the end of the concert, my friend and I kind of walked a few blocks down and across the street to a McDonald's where there were a lot of other armies waiting for Ubers and Lyfts, and we had to wait a while because obviously there were so many people trying to get a ride that it took a while. We waited like maybe like an hour and a half, so we were just chilling there. And then Tae and Jimin and Jungkook went live, and we were watching that with a terrible service that was going in and out. Okay, I'm not sure if this is actually a sticker that like comes off or not. I'm having a hard time peeling it. If it is, maybe it's not, in which case ignore me, but I'm just gonna tape it. So yeah, we were waiting a while, but we finally got a ride and went back to the hotel, and then we're starving, so we ordered Denny's at like, and we're eating it at like 2 a.m. So that was the time, and then we were just kind of like looking through the videos on our phone and reliving everything. So amazing, so amazing. The euphoria of that first night is just like, it can't be replicated, honestly. And all right, so we got some sleep. The next day was day 2, and that day we actually were going to go to Korean barbecue with some people from a group chat that my friend was in, and she invited me to go with them, which was really nice because I had never been to Korean barbecue before, so I was really excited. It was my first time, and it was so delicious. It was so delicious. I loved it. And it was nice to be there with other armies, and some of them were giving out freebies, which was so cute. So that was really nice. And then we were already ready to go to the concert when we went to Korean barbecue because we wanted to head there a little bit earlier this time, just because the previous day had been such a mess with the lines and getting in. So we went right over to SoFi after eating. And this time I didn't line up for any albums or anything like that. The only thing that I did was go get those freebies from the cosmetics booth. And I got a couple of like lip scrubs and also these sticker freebies that came with it. I want to write like a title for my spread here, but unfortunately I don't have an orange marker. I could use pink, or I could use purple, or actually blue. Why don't I use blue? Because there's like some blue accents over here, so I feel like that will go with it. And let me see, what should I write? Usually I like to practice on like a scrap of paper before writing it in my journal because I'm just nervous that I'll mess up and it'll look ugly. So I can use this piece of paper that I cut off. Let's see. It already says permission to dance here, so I don't think I should write that again. Should I write PTD concert? PTD on stage concert. Yeah, maybe I'll write like PTD on stage concert. Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, so I got cosmetics, freebies, and then I went to go try to line up right away because lines were already forming and getting long and kind of wild. And I was worried it would be chaos again. It kind of was a little bit chaos, but not nearly as much as the previous day. It was definitely a lot better. This time they started letting people in on time or even a few minutes before, and I got in line early enough. I got in line at 4 that I was closer towards the front of the line. So even though some of the lines started kind of multiple lines merging into low-key a mob again, I was able to get in a lot sooner this time. So I was in by 6, which was really nice because I had time to go buy a little something to eat inside the stadium and you know, take my time going to the bathroom and all of that. On the first night I had been in the 200 section. This time I was in the 100s, and it was interesting because it was kind of like a VIP level technically. Like my ticket was not VIP, but I think my seat was in like a section that was also a VIP section or near a VIP section. I'm not sure what it was, but we had to go down some like escalators, and it was kind of fancy and bougie over there. So I was like, all right, this is interesting. I haven't seen this before. And like if you wanted to get like regular people concessions, you had to go back up a level and stuff like that. But anyway, so I was kind of trying to navigate all of that. It was a little bit confusing, but it was super nice because when I got to my seat, I didn't realize that I was gonna be so close. Like I was 12th row, and I knew it was side view, and I was a little bit worried that the view would be like obstructed, but like this stage looked so close that when I got to my seat, I just kind of paused and like stopped on the stairs there, and I was like, is this right? Is this my seat? Like, it was so good. I'll see if I can insert like a picture here, maybe. But to be fair, like the view was obstructed a bit sometimes by like the camera on the crane that would like kind of swivel around to film the boys. So that sometimes got in the way of some of my videos. But I mean, other than that, it was fine. I'm not complaining at all. Should I do the word concerts in blue as well, or should I maybe do that green? Might be fun to do that in green. And then the day 2 concert actually started on time at 7:30. And it was amazing. Once again, it was amazing. This time I didn't bond as much with my seatmates because I think on my left there were 2 friends who were there together, and on my right I'm not sure if they were there together or if the person on my right was there on her own, but just, you know, the energy in the section that I was in on day 2 was a little bit lower. In general, like people weren't as hyped as the people I had been sitting with on day 1. And I mean, that's fine. Everyone experiences concerts differently. It could have been that they were newer armies as well, which I think all of the kind of like bashing on baby armies for being at the concerts and not knowing fan chants and not knowing the songs and all of that is messed up. Like, let's not do that. Everyone has the right to enjoy concerts. And honestly, I have been to concerts in the past where I only knew a few songs and I had a blast, and I walked away with sometimes that being like being really a fan of that artist after that concert. So like, you know, if some baby armies went to that and they came out just like fully standing BTS even more so than before, then I mean, good on them. You know, the more the merrier. So let's, you know, let's not be judgy like that. Yeah, even though the energy was a little bit lower and at the beginning, that was a little bit of a downer for me because, like I said, I kind of tend to feed off the energies of people close to me. But you know, halfway through the concert, I kind of was like, you know what, I'm just gonna hype myself up. I'm just gonna hype myself up. So I was just jumping around, waving my army bomb, cheering, singing along. And then of course, day 2 was the iconic Megan Thee Stallion moment when she came out, and the crowd lost their minds when she came out. Just the volume went up so much, like those cheers, oh my goodness, it was amazing. And I was FaceTiming my friend during that so she could witness that iconic moment as well. So I don't have any video footage of that, but it was so fun to be able to FaceTime her and kind of share that moment with her, since she is so far away and couldn't be at the concerts. So she was there with me for a bit through FaceTime, which was awesome. And then they did Young Forever, and they did Spring Day, which is the song of my soul. It's the song of my soul. It's my favorite song in the entire universe of all time ever, and I'm not even kidding. I'm not even exaggerating. That song means everything to me. Everything. Like, just that song is hope. Like, that song is the embodiment of hope to me. I know it has so many different interpretations and so many different meanings to different people, which I think is part of the beauty of it. But for me, ultimately, what I usually take away from it is that it is about spring. It is about hope. It is about that faith that dark times will end, and that there's going to be light at the end of the darkness, and there's going to be spring at the end of the winter, and you just have to hold on until then. And that, I think, that's the most important reminder in life, that hope. That's something that we all need, because there's always going to be dark times, and sometimes the only way to get through it is that hope that everything has an end. Everything in life is a cycle. Everything comes back around. Every dark season is going to have an end, and there's always going to be a spring. So I just love that song with my entire heart and soul, with every fiber of my being. And I never imagined that they would perform it. Like, I hoped they would, but I tried not to get my hopes up too much because I didn't think they would, because I know they performed it a lot during like their online concerts during you know, the kind of height of the pandemic, because they knew that we all needed it. But I was like, oh, they're, you know, they're back to performing in person now. So, you know, it's kind of like that time is over. And I saw someone on Twitter say like, oh, Spring Day's time is almost over. So I was like, they're probably not going to perform it. But they did. And oh, it was so surreal. It was so surreal. My screams when the first notes of that song started playing, and I didn't record all of it because I wanted to really be in the moment, but it was just such a surreal moment, and I was trying as much as possible to be in the moment and to not let it feel so surreal. But I was just like, I am here. I am here in this stadium, looking out at this purple ocean, singing every word of this song with BTS live together in this moment. And I'm gonna remember this forever. Forever. Oh my goodness. I can't believe that happened. I'm sorry. All right. Yeah, that's me getting emotional. And then of course their ending months, just so emotional on both days. I didn't talk about like their outfits, but I mean their outfits were phenomenal. The fake love outfits, yes. They're also amazing. When they were going around on the like rolling carts things during telepathy, and like I could see them pretty closely, like I could see their faces, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're real. I can't believe they're real. I can't believe they're right there. I can't believe they really look like that. It was just amazing. I don't know what else can be said. I love how I wanted to make this video to like talk about my experience, and now I'm here and I feel like I'm just babbling and like not even really saying anything concrete. But I mean, I'm sure you all, most of you probably watched the online stream on day 4 or have seen clips all over Twitter and stuff. But yeah, so I think this is pretty much my journal spread for now. In here, I'm gonna just write a little something. I'm not sure what I'm gonna write yet. It's kind of simple, not too detailed. I'll probably make another journal spread at some point. Maybe I'll print out something of like the outfits that they were wearing during different parts of the concert, so I can kind of put those into a journal spread. And then, like I said, I also want to kind of print some pictures of me and my friend together and put those in here as well. But yeah, this is what I have for now. Kind of simple. We'll see how this video turns out. Hopefully it's not boring. I hope you liked it. Let me see, is there anything else that I wanted to say? I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of things, but it was just an amazing experience. And what I took away from it at the end was I'm so glad that I stepped out of my comfort zone and didn't let my anxiety overcome me, even though I was very anxious about going by myself. I'm so glad that I went. I had an amazing time, and I feel like even after I came back, yes, I was sad and I had a bit of post-concert depression for like the first day, but overall the post-concert depression didn't hit me too hard, because I feel like that feeling of happiness was still very present. Like I still carried it with me in the week after the concert. And I mean, after that, eventually reality started setting in again, you know, with just work and responsibilities and all these other things. But for like that first week afterward, I feel like that happiness was very much still present inside me and making me feel so positive and motivated. And I just realized that it's about the boys, you know what I'm saying? It's about BTS. It's about our love for them. Sometimes it can be easy to get caught up in kind of the things that are hard or stressful, or you know, the drama or whatever of collecting, or of online friendships and social media and all of that. All of those things can sometimes be stressful, can sometimes be overwhelming, can sometimes be anxiety inducing, but at the end of the day, it's about how we love them, and it's about how they make us feel that euphoria, that happiness, that pure, genuine, all-consuming joy. And it's about that at the end of the day. And it's about each of our individual personal experiences with that, regardless of other people, regardless of friendships, regardless of social media, regardless of how many likes or views we get, or any of the other things that just, you know, kind of worry us on a daily basis. Like, regardless of all of that, at the end of the day, it's about BTS, and our personal connection that each one of us has with them, and our love for them, and what they've done for us. So only you know what they've done for you. Only you know how they make you feel. Only you know what they mean to you and how special they are to you. And I think that in times when we are going through a slump, when we get down, I think that's what we need to try to go back to and to remember and to focus on, because that's what it's about. And these concerts really reminded me of that. I don't know when the next time is that I will get to see them, or that they'll perform in front of armies. I really, really hope that these concerts in March happen in Seoul, and that a world tour is able to happen soon. But I'm so grateful that I got to have this experience in the meantime, and that I got to meet some armies there and make new friends and bond with other people online over it. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention was just how absolutely amazing it was that all of LA was basically just armies. It was just taken over by armies. And that was an experience that my roommate and I were talking about, that if we tell our kids that someday, they probably won't believe us, that just people from all over the world came to take over one city to see BTS. Like, there was purple everywhere, there was BT21 everywhere. It was absolutely amazing. So yeah, I'm so grateful to have been part of that experience. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next day of Tay's birthday week. Bye.